What's up, everyone? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick, and I have a collection update for you. Seems all I do is listen to music. It's not, but it definitely seems that way because all these album reviews keep coming out. I wanted to actually, again, get out here and do another collection update because there's a lot of other stuff I've picked up, whether it be new or just some random stuff I've picked up at record stores around here. Got a pretty interesting mishmash of different things here. Some stoner metal, death metal, some black metal, and maybe a surprise or two in here. So let's get started. Crobot Motherbrain. This is their third full length and their first one on Mascot Records. Spans from Pennsylvania, and they play pretty much straight up stoner metal / stoner rock. There's a lot of blues rock feel to this too. It's just very riffy and really good. This kind of reminds me of like a heavier version of a band like Rival Sons, which apparently a lot of people really get into. I really like those guys too. These guys are kind of like a more heavier version of them. There's definitely some more metal moments on here. I don't know if I'd consider this full-on metal, but it definitely has some full-on metal moments, and I strongly recommend it. It's just riffy, heavy, and fucking fun. Really catchy songs. Really like this release. Check it out. House of Atreus, the Spear and the Ichor that follows. This is one I kind of just picked up on a whim. This came out in 2015 on Dark Descent, which generally if it has Dark Descent on it, I'll check it out because it's a solid label. This is kind of a mix of thrash metal and melodic death metal. Like on the melodic death metal spectrum, it really sounds like Hypocrisy or really early In Flames. And then on the thrash metal side, it definitely has like kind of a Testament and Exodus sort of flair to it. Kind of reminds me of a band like The Absence, if anyone's familiar with them. Pretty solid stuff. It has a Shakespearean theme, which I thought was really interesting. It's generally a theme that a lot of bands really don't go after in terms of a concept. I guess that's something that's kind of part of their shtick. I guess that's a theme on other albums as well. Pretty solid stuff. The recording's a little rough on this. It feels more like a polished demo in spots. Sometimes the snare will disappear in the mix. Guitars have a nice crunchy tone, though. Writing-wise, it's pretty solid. I would definitely recommend this if you're a fan of melodic death metal or thrash metal. Yeah, definitely check it out. Pretty good listen. Wormed, Metaportal. This is the new EP that came out for Wormed out on Season of Mist, and it is straightforward, technical, brutal death metal. The only thing I've never been able to get into are the vocals for this band. They are fiercely low, gurgled vocals. Musically, these guys are incredible. Like, there's a lot of real cool technical flourishes, but there's still some really cool groovy moments and even some melody here and there. Definitely reminds me a lot of Cryptopsy. There are some interesting atmospheric moments on here. Now, I would say the songs kind of run together if it weren't for some standout moments on here. One gripe I can make is the last track kind of attempts to blow my speakers just because it keeps getting louder and more distorted, and yeah, it's going to give me tinnitus if I fucking jam this in my car because I jam everything loud. But yeah, if you like technical, brutal death metal, definitely check out Worm. Chances are you might already know who these guys are. Check it out. Nightfell, a Sanity Deranged. Yet another awesome band from Portland, Oregon, that whole Pacific Coast scene. And this also came out on 20 Buck Spin, which is another label that's having a great year in my opinion. This is a little bit different than a lot of the stuff that's coming out of this Pacific Coast scene. This is more blackened, sludgy death doom, I guess. They advertise it as blackened death metal, at least on Encyclopedia Metalum, but there is definitely a lot of doom to this, and wow, the songwriting on this is incredible. I really, really dig this. Every track on here is an absolute banger, loaded with cool guitar harmonies. It is just dense, heavy, suffocating. I absolutely love this release, and I need to get more from Nightfell because, yeah, they got me on this one. This is fantastic. Might be year-end material. I don't know. Check it out. Infamous, Under the Seals of Death. I guess it's important to note that they spell infamous with a V. You know, the U in place of a V. Very metal thing. This is a death metal band from Chile. It's out on Memento Mori Records. This came out in 2017, I believe. And this is a really awesome blend of old school death metal and maybe some touches of modern death metal. It gets very chuggy in certain parts and kind of has a thrashy flair in others. Kind of reminds me of Crisian, but on the other side of it, it's very much like a band like Incantation. It is just dense and heavy as hell. I really dig this. The production on this is really solid. It's very raw and gritty. If you like your death metal exceptionally raw and fast, this is definitely an album to check out. I really like the drum work on here. They incorporate a lot of different styles of blast beats and then like cool pockets of groove in here. Really dig this. Start to finish, I couldn't find anything I didn't like about this. It's an awesome release. Definitely check these guys out, especially if you love death metal. Alright, now this is a collaboration between Mike Patton of Faith and More, Mr. Bungle, and a myriad of other projects, and Jean-Claude Vannier, who is a composer in France, and it's called Corpse Flower. And this is yet another very strange thing that Mike Patton is involved in. This is almost cinematic lounge music with a lot of Mike Patton doing a lot of spoken word, I guess we'd call it. There's a lot of singing and crooning on here, but he does these spoken word interludes in between there, which I thought was really interesting. Definitely not metal, like, at all, but, you know, once again, it just shows that Mike Patton keeps wanting to create wild, different music, and this is just kind of an interesting collaboration. I don't know if it's something I would jam all the time, but I have to admit, I was pretty enthralled when I was listening to it. It was really interesting. This could definitely score some 60s movie or something like that. But, yeah, definitely check it out. It's an interesting listen. May not be metal, but it's fucking wild. Check it out. Eschaton, Death Obsession. I wasn't sure this band was still around. This is out on Unique Leader. This is their first album in 4 years, and only their second full length. I thought these guys had disbanded or something, but nope, they're actually still around and still playing their, I guess, modern death metal meets technical death metal and occasionally some deathcore. Still, like, lots of breakdowns in here that kind of feel a little deathcore-ish, but there's a lot of cool technical play and very straightforward, cool riffing and lots of lead play on this. There are parts on here where I think they go a little too over tech, kind of sacrifice technical play for hooks, but overall, I thought it was a pretty solid release, and there's a lot of really cool drum work, and little bonus surprise at the end, there's a cover of Castlevania, Seal of the Curse. It's pretty much one of the main themes in the Castlevania series, and, well, I'm a giant nerd, so that one definitely got me. Yeah, definitely check it out, especially if you like technical death metal and deathcore and such. Pretty decent release. Good to hear these guys are still around. Crips Ermine, The Ruins of Fading Light. This is one I wasn't sure was actually coming out because I wasn't sure what happened to this band. The last release they put out was in 2015. This is out on Dark Descent, and this is insanely good, epic doom metal. Fiercely in the vein of Candlemass. Awesome soaring vocals, but they're also very gritty too, which I really like. The production here is absolutely amazing. The guitar work is fiercely doomy, but also very melodic and somber. Huge choruses. The songs are absolutely massive. I especially like the song Key of Solomon and Christ is Dead. These are fantastic songs. This is one of the best doom metal albums I've heard this year for sure. And I love their flair for songwriting in here. Like, these songs are engaging and they move around. They're very well constructed. Really dig this release. If you're a fan of doom metal in any sense, definitely check this release out. It's fantastic. Necronautical Apotheosis. This is a, I guess, melodic black metal band. They're from the UK. This is out on Spinefarm / Candlelight Records. And this is kind of comparable to maybe Dimmaborger, their earlier stuff, maybe not what they're doing now, or maybe even Belphegor in that sense, where there's touches of death metal here. It's very riff-driven. There's some really chunky, heavy, even thrashy moments on this. Really long songs for sure, but they're really well constructed, and I really got into it. I like the production here. It's a little bit cleaner than a lot of black metal, which, you know, sometimes that's a detractor for some, but I really like the overall sound of this album. It's pretty solid. I mean, it's something that I haven't really heard before, but it's well executed, and I got into it. But yeah, if you like more polished black metal, I guess, definitely check them out. It's a fun listen. Cronian Erathems. This is one I picked up on a whim and had no idea who was involved. This is out on Season of Mist, and I believe this came out in 2013. It's two members of Borknagar, namely Wintersorg and Oysten Garns Brun. think I pronounced that right. Probably didn't. This is more of a orchestral prog metal project, I guess. It still has some elements of black metal, and inevitably it does kind of sound like Victor Sorg's solo stuff and Bortnigar, but with a lot of the black metal elements stripped out, and even a lot of the folk metal elements stripped out in favor of more orchestral arrangements, and I guess more straightforward prog metal in some spots. The one thing I didn't like about this is Victor Sorg's vocals are very processed on here. There's a lot of filters, a lot of layering, and I just like hearing that guy sing naturally because he's a really good singer. But the songwriting is really cool. Sometimes I think they're maybe trying to go a little too grandiose, a little too epic. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty solid release, and it was a lot of fun to listen to. And it was cool discovering a band that I had no idea existed that involved some musicians that I definitely know pretty well. But yeah, check it out. Not a lot of black metal on here, but there's a lot of really interesting songwriting on this for sure. Acid King. Busse Woods or Busse Woods? Gotta hope it's not Busse Woods, that'd be creepy. This is an awesome stoner metal band / doom band from San Francisco. Very straightforward, sleep worship, heavy, fuzzy guitars, really deep, nasty bass tone, which the bassist on here is actually a member of Black Cobra, which I'm very familiar with. I really love those guys. Really straightforward stoner doom. I think sometimes the songs kind of drag on a little too long and don't get interesting enough. It's a really cool sound for a three-piece. It's very, very full. But pretty much, yeah, if you like sleep and... yeah, pretty much, yeah, sleep. If you like sleep, you'll probably really dig this. It's a pretty solid band. I definitely need to check out more of the releases. I don't have very much by them, but this is a reissue that came out on Writing Easy because this album was originally released in 1999. So I guess they're doing a anniversary for this one because this just came out. So yeah, definitely check this out if you like stoner and doom metal. Probably right up your alley. All right, so that does it for another collection update. We're gonna get back to work on, well, definitely album reviews and definitely some discography rankings. We're gonna get rolling on those, and well, I don't know, whatever else really fancies us in terms of shit we'd like to talk about on YouTube. So, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, definitely subscribe, because we do shit like this all the time. Catch you later.